Tears from the parents accused of killing their infant daughter today. Jurors watched videos of the parents' conversations with Newton County investigators after Caliyah's McNabb's body was found. The parents insisting they are not the ones who killed the infant. John Sherrick at the courthouse in Covington has more.
Jurors listened to the mother of Caliyah McNabb, Cortney Bell, answering investigators' questions in detail hours after Caliyah's body was found. And more than halfway through that interview, jurors heard this woman, now on trial for the murder of her baby daughter, ask this as if she were not sure. Bell tells investigators that at one point she was afraid to ask McNabb if he killed Caliyah, afraid of how he'd answer. McNabb, in an interview with investigators in December 2017, pleading with them to consider other possible suspects.
Well, I want her back so bad. I want to know who killed my baby before I die.
And jurors heard another interview with Cortney Bell. Prosecutors describing Bell in that interview as acknowledging that her neglect was a factor in Caliyah's death, which is why she's on trial too. This trial could wrap up early next week.